Hello and welcome to Mecha Anime Reviews, and today we're gonna take a look at Aldnoah Zero. First, some background. Much like Gargantia, the concept for Aldnoah Zero came from Gen Urobuchi, but he barely had any involvement in the final production, which meant the show took a radically different direction from what was originally intended. The series was actually directed by Aoki, who had previously collaborated with Urobuchi on Fate Zero, with mecha designs done by Kenji Tereoka and character designs by Masako Matsumoto and Takako Shimura. The series aired from July 2014 through March 2015 with two full 12-episode seasons. Anyway, what's the story? In 1969, an ancient alien hypergate was discovered on the surface of the moon. Using this technology, humanity began migrating to Mars and settling there. After some years, the First Empire was established, claiming Mars and its secret Aldnoah technology for themselves and declared war on Earth. The war ended when a battle on the moon's surface caused the hypergate to explode, shattering the moon and cutting off Mars from Earth. Now it's 2014, and Princess Salem of the First Empire goes to Earth in an effort to form a peaceful alliance with the Earth government. However, she was shot down, supposedly by Earth forces, causing the Empire and its 37 clans of orbital knights to launch a new attack on the planet, this time determined to conquer it once and for all. From there, the story splits its focus onto two characters: Anao Kaizuka, a high school student at the top of his class whose combat strategies are what allow the Earth forces to achieve victories over the Empire, and Slain Troyard, a Terran spy who is loyal to the princess, who is also trying to uncover a dastardly conspiracy among the clans of the Empire. The animation is very good, it flows well, is very vibrant, and it looks great. It uses CGI at various points, particularly with the mechs, and while at times it can be off-putting, it holds together rather well. The music is done by Hiroyuki Sawano, and as expected, it's really damn awesome, with a lot of memorable, exciting, and even emotional tracks, and the insert songs are pretty good too, my favorite being Breathless. The voice acting is generally solid on both sides of the language spectrum. The seiyus do generally solid performances, some helping give characters a certain amount of depth, although I don't recognize too many of the actors. The English dub is pretty much the same, except this anime became the star-making roles for certain actors like Mads Mikkelsen as Inaho and Zach Aguilar's debut role as Slain. And a lot of these other actors are people who worked on stuff like Sword Art Online or the more recent version of Fate Stay Night, like Erika Harlacher, Cristina Valenzuela, Let's Lang, and... The series was heavily promoted when it first came out, advertising a lot of big-name creators working on it, even making the incredibly bold claim that it would be bigger than Gundam.
I've had enough of your disingenuous assertions.
Yeah, as you can imagine, it didn't go over very well. But first, let's talk about the good stuff. The mecha designs are decent, the First Empire cataphracts have unique and interesting designs, while the Terran cataphract designs are suitable. An interesting thing about the battles is the reversal of roles. Unlike something like, say, Gundam Wing, it's the villains who have the ridiculously powerful super robots, while the heroes are the ones with the standard Mook mechs. I'll admit, I like how the heroes need to use clever strategies to take down the villains, even if there are very few times where they actually lose. Some of the political stuff of the First Empire is interesting, and I was kind of invested in Slain's story, since I think he's the most interesting character in the show, and his rise to power is one of the better done aspects of the series. However, there are a ton of major problems. The story is not very interesting or memorable, feeling like a retread of Gundam or Code Geass rather than a unique story on its own terms. There's a lot of padding, the fights aren't very interesting for the reasons I've provided, and the series is reluctant to make any lasting changes. In fact, the first season ends on a really effective bittersweet cliffhanger, only for the second season to undo a lot of that because status quo is God apparently. The weakest aspect of the series is, aside from Slain, the characters. They are really bland and one-dimensional. Riot is the revenge-driven character, Minato is the jaded washout character, Princess Salem is Padme Amidala, etc. The most boring character is pretty much Inaho, who makes Hiroyuki seem like a well-rounded character by comparison, with his sheer lack of personality. He gets slightly better in the second season, but gains an ability that turns him into a full-on Mary Sue. In all, Aldnoah Zero is mediocre. There are enjoyable aspects to it, but it's rather pedestrian as a whole, which is a shame because it had a lot of potential. I wish Gen Urobuchi stayed on because some of his plans seemed really interesting. Oh well, see you next time on the next Mecha Anime Reviews.